right, kids, strap on those safety belts, start up your Studebaker, and hold on. It's time for the Ray Carr Show. You'll hear all your favorite songs that you've never heard before, plus the news, weather, sports, interviews, and more, right here on WCSB Cleveland, 89.3 FM, and streaming online at raycarram.com. And now, it's time for the man, the myth, the living legend, Ray Carr.
On the telephone line with me right now is a man that knows quite a bit about a lot of things, including the Muffler Men. Joel Baker, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Joel, I am fantastic. And let's talk about the big Muffler Men that look like Paul Bunyan now. If I'm not mistaken, 1962 in Venice, California, is when these fiberglass monsters came into being, and they were for advertising. Tell me a little bit more about them.
Yeah, that's right. There was a place, a guy named Steve Dashew that started a fiberglass business. He's actually making boats. And to augment his business a little bit during the slow months, he made this company called International Fiberglass, and he started making these giant animals and giant people. And he made Paul Bunyans. They're all from the same mold, Paul Bunyans, cowboys. He even made Indians and something they call Mortimer Snurd, which kind of looks like an Alfred Newman character.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. No, they were all over the country.
That's right. He started out making a few of them. I think the very first one they ever made was in Flagstaff at Lumberjack Cafe. It still exists today, not the cafe, but the giant moved to the university and stands outside the dome there, the arena. And it kind of caught on, There was a trade magazine. Someone wrote up an article about how successful it was. People were pulling off the highway to stop in front of the business, take pictures of their family in front of this giant 22-foot statue. And once it hit that trade magazine, everybody wanted one.
Yeah, how cool is that? It was on Route 66. Well, a lot of them were on Route 66.
That's right. That's right.
And as far as I know, there's only about 180 or maybe a little bit more less in the whole world. Yeah,
that's kind of the figure I've come up with. It's a rough number, and that includes all variations and types. They made, the standard Muffler Man is kind of, one hand up, one hand down.
Sure.
The leg mold matches on all of them. But they made a couple other kinds that look close to it. You actually have one near you guys there on Broadway in Oakwood Village. He's a little different mold. Same company, though.
Now, why do they destroy all these things? I mean, they're such icons, and they at one time were very ubiquitous everywhere.
Yeah, well, they were made from 62 to 72, so it's been a long time.
Sure.
And over time, a lot of them fell into disrepair. Cars would crash into them from time to time in different locations as they stood in front of these businesses. But I think one of the most interesting stories is, International Fiberglass started making these guys for the oil companies. They all got interested. They made the Sinclair. Yeah, they made the Sinclair Dinosaur. They made the Esso Tiger. Get a tiger in your tank campaign.
I remember.
They made the A&W root beer family and all these different things. Phillips 66 ordered all the Cowboys for their gas stations. And then Texaco came along, and they wanted an exclusive, and they ordered, you remember the Friendly Serviceman.
Oh, yeah, in a white suit. Sure.
That's right, in some of their older ads, and they ordered 300 of these guys, a little bit of a different mold there, but they ordered 300 with an option to buy more, and they wanted to set these guys all up all around the country at their Texaco stations. So the campaign was unfortunately short-lived. I don't know if one fell. I think one fell over. They realized that this giant 23-foot statue was going to be a bit of a liability there for them. So they ordered all of them to be destroyed, all 300 of them, and unfortunately they were almost completely successful in that. I've only been able to find about 3 or 4 that are left in existence today. Extremely rare.
Where is the most remote spot you found one in?
Well, I was on a business trip in Puerto Rico and had a picture of a Muffler Man on my phone, and I'd heard rumor there was one there. I started showing, I don't speak any Spanish, but I started showing locals a picture of it, and they started nodding their heads and pointing. And, that led me down an alley to the back of an auto garage, and there one stood.
Wow. Now, are they all about 23 to 25 feet high?
Yeah, the standard Muffler Men, the ones that are most common with the different variations, the Indian, the Paul Bunyan is one of the most recognized Muffler Men. They're all about 22 feet. They did make a 14-foot smaller version for a brief amount of time to appeal to people, business owners who didn't have the space or the height to store such the bigger Muffler Men, and they were cheaper. But, it didn't really take off, so those guys are pretty rare as well.
Why don't they, your research, has it shown that they may make a comeback?
There is a lot of interest these days in Muffler Men, and I think a lot of it is just because of the Americana, the roadside architecture factor. They're from the 60s. They have that look, and it's something that was there then and is still there today, so it's like a connection. So I think that's what appeals to a lot of people. But, it's interesting you asked that. I have on my website for sale section, and that's where I list any Muffler Men that I know of that are up for sale, and they hardly ever come up for sale. I'm only posting something in that section of my website, maybe 2 or 3 times a year, more like once or twice. And I think, but it's the most visited, almost one of the most visited sections of my website, which shows me there's a lot of interest out there, probably among business owners still. That are interested in these guys,
Now, the website is usagiants.com. You can go there, and I was perusing it yesterday. Very, very interesting website, very good, very helpful, and you did a nice job with that, Joel. Who was the gentleman that was with you in the video?
I have 2 guys that are with me in my episodes there. We've got 8 so far. And I work together with 2 other guys. So one is named Adam Arnetto and then Bo Carnegie, and they both travel with me. We go out on a few road trips every year and hit a whole bunch of these guys and sometimes do some digging. I've seen pictures a lot of times from the 70s, 80s, and you go, and the giants are no longer there. And what we enjoy doing is trying to track them down, find out what happened to them.
Yeah, and sometimes you only find parts.
That's right. You never know what you're going to find. I think that's kind of the adventure in it all. We were in Chicago one time, and I'm showing, going around to different restaurants in the area where it used to be, showing pictures of this Muffler Man to different people. And one guy looks at me funny and says, that guy's in the attic at the business where I work. So you never know what.
Oh, sure. Somebody knows something somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, this is a very interesting kind of a pilgrimage to find Americana. Now, did all 50 states have these, or was it only concentrated to maybe 20 states?
They are pretty well scattered, and they've moved a good bit since they were, very few of them are still with their original purchasers, almost none. So they've moved pretty well. Every state is represented by them, I think, except for like South Carolina and just a few states that I have not been able to find any in.
Okay. How about, I would imagine that people from other countries would come and see this and go, we need that in Canada. We need that in Europe, maybe. I don't know. Has any of this spread to any other part of the world?
They have. They've migrated into Canada. There's a good handful of them up in Canada, and just across the border in Mexico. I think there's 2 in Mexico. And it's interesting you said that because I've also been surprised from my website, to see the traffic coming in, and a lot of it is from Europe. Europeans, especially people from England, love these guys. They will go well out of their way on their trips to America to see a Muffler Man. There's one in Atlanta, Illinois. Used to be up in Cicero back in the day, and he holds a hot dog, and a very popular tourist attraction. Oh,
they're fantastic. I never really thought about Muffler Men, but when I did some research on you, Joel, I go, I think these guys are really cool. I mean, this is good stuff.
Yeah.
Joel Baker, our special guest. The website is usagiants.com. Is there any other website?
That's pretty much mine. But there are other websites that I use to get started in this. RoadsideAmerica.com is really responsible for for me taking off on this. When I first saw my first Muffler Men, it was because of their site. Finding their site, and they also have a detailed map of all the locations of Muffler Men, and they air my episodes, and they've been a big help. Also, Deborah Jane Seltzer and Roadside Architecture has been a huge help to me in doing research on these guys.
Any way I can help keep Americana alive is one of my goals. We play an oldies format here, so I understand, and it's very, very important. But, Joel, after everything that I've seen, is there a book in the works, maybe a big picture book of all the places you've been?
Yeah, a lot of people have asked me, where's your book, where's your coffee table book of all these giants? And you're definitely not the first one to mention it. So, we have some exciting things in the works. I'm slowly starting to work on that. We also have a Kickstarter we're launching here soon. To help an older lady in rural Kentucky who I found has a Muffler Man that has long since lost his head and arms. And me and the American Giants team, that's my website is it's usagiants.com, but we call it American Giants. And our team is helping her get a new head and arms for her guy there. And we're doing a whole episode on it, having a fiberglass manufacturer make them from molds he has. And, so that'll be really cool. So we have a couple exciting things coming.
All right. Now, are there any other places you're on en route to now that you're ready to research, or any part of the country you haven't quite been to yet, or what's on the agenda?
Yeah, there's a lot of things I haven't seen. So far I've seen over 120. I'm not sure what my exact number is, but I've seen quite a few. I've got a lot more to go here. But the New Jersey area is really big on my list. There are so many up there. And many of them were affected by Hurricane Sandy when it came in.
Oh,
so I'm
sure.
really excited to go up there and get some of those stories. As people try to preserve, these, this Americana and these roadside icons, So there's quite a few places yet I'm still excited to go to.
Joel, I would imagine there's got to be a lot up there because they had the boardwalk in Atlantic City and a lot of places like that. I would imagine that would be a big popular place to find, if not the whole thing, pieces, parts.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Yeah, Seaside Heights has always had a few Muffler Men, and they're not all of them are standing. Sometimes if you go to Google Earth and look at the satellite view, you can see them laying there. It's the first thing I did after Sandy came in is looked at some of this, chopper footage of that pier, and you could still see them sitting there in the ruins on the pier. But they've been there a long time, and many people have childhood memories of these guys, not just there, but all across America. I get comments on my website, where people will share little tidbits of their childhood memories. Like haunted trails,
Sure.
Mini golf park in Chicago. They have like one that's been modified into a Frankenstein, and so many people have memories of him.
Yeah, I saw it was on the video, the Frankenstein.
That's right. Episode 8 covered him in a lot of detail.
Very, very interesting. Joel, once again, the website is usagiants.com, and you can go there and see all kinds of really interesting things about the marvelous Muffler Men. And there's about 180 left, maybe a few more, a few less, but roughly about 180, 23 feet high approximately. And they all began in 1962, and Joel is on his sojourn, his pilgrimage to try to find all of them. And if you know of any, please contact me or Joel, and it would be a great help. And Americana needs to be preserved. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely.
Joel, thank you so much for your time. You've done a great job. And, hey, periodically check back with us. Let us know how things are going.
Okay, Ray. Thanks so much for having me.
You did a great job, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.